All right, let's dive into this. Today we're tackling a guy, Martin Buzzy Schwartz,
Oh, yeah.
a legend in the fast-paced world of short-term trading.
Mm-hmm.
I've got articles stacked up here, research galore, and thankfully you're here to help me untangle it all because
Absolutely.
honestly, how does he consistently beat the market? It's a puzzle I'm eager to unpack.
Yeah. Well, I think what makes Schwartz so fascinating is that, there's a system, right? That's not just luck. He's got this blend of, looking at the charts, technical analysis.
Right.
And then you combine that with incredible risk management
Yeah.
and emotional control.
That's the part that always gets me. You hear these stories, oh, this trader made millions, but what are the nuts and bolts? How are they doing it?
Right.
So let's just start with this short-term focus.
Yeah.
Everything I'm seeing is Schwartz is all about, quick price swings, minutes, hours,
Yeah.
not years. Why is that such a winning approach for him?
Well, it's about leverage, right? He's able to make, because of the short-term nature, multiple trades in a single day.
Oh, wow.
And even capture those small price movements.
Okay.
And this really works well in markets that are very liquid.
Right.
Stocks, currencies.
Got it.
You can almost think of it like speedboat, right?
Okay.
Navigating a harbor that's got lots of choppy waves. He can move quickly and catch those short, sharp waves.
So he's not like waiting for these big tidal waves.
Not at all.
He's getting those smaller ripples.
Exactly.
But to ride those ripples effectively, I mean, he must have some sort of system to spot them.
Yeah.
And everything I'm reading points to this idea of technical analysis.
Yeah.
He's looking at the charts. So what does he see in those charts?
He's a master at reading the language of the charts. He's identifying these patterns that give him these clues. And one of the classic ones, and you'll appreciate this, it's called the head and shoulders pattern.
Okay.
And it literally looks like a head and shoulders, right? So you've got these three peaks, right? You've got the head in the middle, which is the highest, and then you've got these two shoulders on either side, which are a little bit lower. And what's really interesting is when the price breaks below the neckline, which is that base of the head and shoulders, that can be a signal that things are turning south.
It's like deciphering ancient hieroglyphics. So he's looking for these patterns, but he's also using things I've heard of, moving averages and the RSI. Right. What are those?
Yeah, those are key tools in his arsenal. So moving averages, think of them as smoothing out the choppiness of the day-to-day prices. And what it does is it gives you a better sense of the overall trend. Is it going up? Is it going down?
So it's like instead of looking at every single tree, you're looking at the forest. Got it. Okay.
And then you've got the RSI, Relative Strength Index. And what this does is it's a way to measure the magnitude of recent price changes.
Well,
and to try to figure out, are we getting overbought?
Right.
Is it too hot?
Too hot to handle.
Or is it oversold? Is it getting too cold?
Oh, wow. So it's like you have the temperature gauge on the market.
Exactly. It's a way to gauge the mood.
Okay.
Yeah.
But let's be real for a second. Trading, especially this fast-paced short-term trading, that's risky business.
Of course.
So how does Schwartz make sure he's not going all in and then losing it all?
Well, risk management is paramount for him. It's his number one rule. And so a couple of key things. Number one, he never risks more than 1% of his capital on a single trade.
Okay.
So no matter how confident he is, he's always got that limit. Mm-hmm. The second thing, and this is really important, is he uses what are called stop-loss orders. And what these are is you're basically saying, look, if the stock drops to this price, automatically sell it.
Got it.
So it's like a safety net, right? It prevents those catastrophic losses.
Yeah, because I was going to say, it must be tempting to go, no, it's going to go back up. I know it. It's going to go back up.
You're very tempted.
And then you lose it all.
And that's where the emotional discipline comes in. But, the other thing he does with risk management is he adjusts his position sizes. Okay. So when the market's really volatile, he'll take smaller positions, kind of batten down the hatches. Right. But when things are calm, he scales up.
Okay, so it's almost like adjusting your sails based on the wind, right?
Exactly.
Now, we talked about charts, but you mentioned earlier this thing called gap trading. What is that?
So gaps happen when a stock's price jumps like significantly, either overnight or between trading sessions.
Okay.
And so it leaves this gap on the chart. And Schwartz really studies these because they can actually provide really valuable information.
So like what if I'm looking at a chart and I see a gap, how am I supposed to read that?
Well, let's say, for example, a company, right after the market closes, announces fantastic earnings, right? And the stock the next morning gaps up, like significantly. Schwartz might look at that and say, aha, that's a sign of continued buying pressure. I think I can ride this upward momentum.
Okay, so it's not just the gap itself, it's the context, the why.
It's all about the why, yeah.
Okay. Now, this all sounds super intense. I mean, this guy, he must just be on edge all the time. And one thing that keeps popping up in these articles is the importance of emotional control for Schwartz.
Yeah.
Why is that such a big deal in this world?
Because if you let, fear and greed kind of take over,
right.
you're going to make impulsive decisions.
Right.
You're not going to stick to your plan. And so Schwartz is incredibly patient.
Okay.
He waits for what he considers to be high probability setups.
So he's not jumping into every trade. He's
waiting for the perfect pitch.
Yeah, he's waiting for the perfect pitch.
Okay. That's a good analogy.
Now, there's this one thing I'm really curious about. It's called the magic T, right?
Ah.
What's the story behind this? It sounds mystical.
It does. It does sound mystical. But the magic T is basically this idea that markets move in this kind of rhythmic, almost predictable way.
Okay.
You can imagine like a pendulum swinging back and forth.
Okay.
The market tends to, ascend and descend, and then ascend again, descend again.
So like waves, like almost.
Like waves. And so the magic T is this way to try to measure these cycles.
Oh, wow.
And even anticipate those turning points.
So it's like a surfer timing the waves. He's trying to feel the rhythm of the market.
Exactly.
But how could someone, I mean, I'm just imagining myself looking at these charts. How could someone actually see or identify or recognize this magic T?
Well, it takes a lot of studying historical charts.
Okay.
You have to look for those recurring patterns. I mean, Schwartz has spent years honing his understanding.
So for someone just starting out, there's no easy button?
Not really, no. It's a lot of research, it's observation.
Okay. So it's like learning a new language. You have to learn to read
exactly
the nuance, the subtle movements.
You got it.
Okay. One last thing that really stuck out to me is just his commitment to always learning, to always improving.
Mm-hmm.
He analyzes every trade, whether he wins or loses, and he's always looking for ways to get better.
Yeah, I think that's what really separates the good from the great is that willingness to admit mistakes and to adapt. I mean, markets are constantly changing.
Right.
And so you have to adapt with them.
That's a lesson that goes way beyond trading.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's life, right?
It is.
So as we kind of wrap up here, what's the big takeaway? What can our listeners, what can they learn from Martin Buzzy Schwartz?
I think the biggest thing is that successful trading, it's a combination of skill, it's discipline, and this relentless pursuit of knowledge. You can't just rely on gut feeling or intuition. You need a system, you need a plan, and you need the emotional control to stick to it.
Here's a question I'll leave everyone with.
Sure.
If risk management and emotional control and this constant learning, if those are so key to Schwartz's success in trading, how can you apply those to other areas of your life?
That's something to ponder for sure.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Martin Buzzy Schwartz. It's been a fascinating journey.
My pleasure.
We'll be back soon with another exciting exploration.
Sounds good.